There's a $3 jug in the cleaning aisle of every grocery store in America. Used right, it does the work of a $150 service call in 4 rooms of your house. I have also written the invoice for the folks who handed it the wrong job. So today, 12 things about plain white vinegar and an honest verdict on everyone. 8 of them will keep money in your pocket. 2 are a big part of why people still call a plumber anyway. And the last 2 will cost you a repair. Because that damage takes months to show, and by then nobody connects it back to the jug. Stay to the end, because I am handing you one number. It is free, your water company already published it, and once you have it, you will know exactly how often any of this needs doing. 2 years before I get that call, the same toilet flushed fine. The same shower sprayed straight and hot. Nothing broke. Nothing wore out. Something just got smaller on the inside. That something is limescale. Hard water carries dissolved calcium and magnesium picked up from limestone underground, and every time it evaporates or gets heated, those minerals drop out and stick to whatever they touch. Chrome, porcelain, glass, the little plastic nozzles on a showerhead. It starts as a haze you can barely feel and ends as a ring of stone growing inward around every opening, narrowing it the way plaque narrows an artery. Nothing fails. Everything just gets weaker, slowly enough that you adjust to it. Scale is alkaline, so the only thing that removes it is an acid. White vinegar is about 5% acetic acid and 95% water. Mild enough to pour on a salad, strong enough to eat calcium. So why does the trade not lead with this? No conspiracy, just arithmetic. A weak flush, a choked aerator, a scaled showerhead. Those are 20-minute jobs that bill as a full service call. There has never been money in prevention. Nobody is hiding anything from you. Nobody is bringing it up either. Number 1, the faucet aerator. When your kitchen faucet goes weak and sputtery and sprays off to one side, the faucet is usually fine. The aerator is the little screw on screen at the tip of the spout, and it is the first thing in your house to choke, because it is the smallest opening water passes through. Unscrew it counterclockwise by hand, wrapping your pliers in a rag if it is stuck so you do not chew up the finish. Drop it in a cup of warm vinegar for 30 minutes. Brush it with an old toothbrush. Rinse. Screw it back on. Full flow for pennies. A new kitchen faucet installed runs $120 to $300, and a plumber driving out to tell you your screen is dirty is $150. Number 2, the showerhead without taking it down. Fill a sandwich bag with warm vinegar. Push the showerhead into it so every nozzle is submerged, and tie it up there with a rubber band overnight. In the morning, pull the bag, run it hot for a minute, and rub your thumb across the rubber nubs on the face to pop off whatever is left. A decent showerhead costs $30 to $60. This costs you a bag. One caution. On a specialty finish like oil-rubbed bronze or unlacquered brass, give it an hour instead, then rinse well and dry it off. Number 3, the weak flush. And this one surprises people. Take a small mirror and look up under the rim of your toilet bowl. You will find a row of small angled holes, anywhere from 6 to 2 dozen. Those are the rim jets, and when you flush, tank water fires through them at an angle to rinse the bowl and start the swirl. Scale them up, and the water dribbles straight down instead of sweeping around, and the flush loses its power. People replace whole toilets over this, and a toilet installed is $350 to $800. The method. Shut the water off at the little valve behind the toilet, turning it clockwise, and flush once to drop the tank. Take the lid off and find the overflow tube, the tall, open pipe standing in the middle of the tank. Funnel 2 to 4 cups of heated vinegar straight down it. Warm, not boiling, because boiling liquid and old porcelain is how you crack a bowl. That vinegar fills the hidden channel feeding the rim jets and sits right against the scale. Give it 30 to 60 minutes or overnight for heavy buildup. Then go around each jet with a small Allen wrench or a stiff wire to break the softened crust loose. Turn the water back on and flush 4 or 5 times to clear the debris. And notice where that vinegar went. Down the overflow tube into the rim channel, not into the tank water itself. That distinction matters, and it comes back hard at number 11. Number 4. The film on your chrome and shower glass that spray cleaner will not touch. You scrub, it looks clean while wet, it dries, and the cloudiness is right back. That is because spray cleaner is a detergent, and detergents lift grease. Mineral film is not grease. You are pushing stone around with a paper towel. Soak a folded paper towel in straight vinegar, drape it over the faucet base and the crusty spots, and walk away for 15 minutes. Come back, wipe, and it lifts without a scraper. For shower glass, half vinegar and half water in a spray bottle, dwell a few minutes, squeegee off. 15 minutes, not all afternoon, and rinse after. Acid you forget about is acid working on the finish. Number 5. The garbage disposal that has gone sour. Pour vinegar into an ice cube tray and freeze it. When the smell shows up, run cold water, drop in 3 or 4 cubes, and run the disposal until they are gone. The frozen cubes scour the grind chamber while the acid works on the film coating the walls. And while you are down there, lift the rubber splash guard and scrub the underside with dish soap, because that is where the smell actually lives. Now, you will hear that ice sharpens the blades. There are no blades. A disposal has 2 blunt metal lugs that throw food against a stationary grinding ring. Anybody telling you they are sharpening it has not looked inside one. Number 6, cleaning vinegar versus the kind you cook with, because somebody always asks. Cooking vinegar is 5% acetic acid. Cleaning vinegar is 6. I have heard people call that meaningless, and that is not quite honest either. 1 point on a base of 5 is about 20% more acid, and on heavy scale that means fewer repeat soaks. But it is nowhere near double the price. White vinegar runs $2.50 to $3 a gallon, and cleaning vinegar $3.50 to $5. So you pay $1 or $2 more, not twice as much. My verdict: for aerators, showerheads, and chrome, the 5% does the job with a longer soak. If your water is genuinely hard and you are back at the same fixture every few weeks, the 6% saves you a second trip. One thing you do need to know: cleaning vinegar is not food safe, so keep it out of your kitchen. Number 7, the appliances that heat water, which is where scale builds fastest, because heat is what drives those minerals out of solution. A tankless water heater needs a descaling flush about once a year, and vinegar is what the procedure calls for. Run with a small pump and 2 hoses through the service valves on the unit. A plumber charges $150 to $300 for that visit. The vinegar costs $3. Your humidifier is the same story. Fill the tank, let it stand, scrub, rinse. Your dishwasher will take a bowl of vinegar upright on the top rack through a hot cycle to cut the cloudy buildup inside. Occasionally, not weekly, and never in the rinse aid compartment, because that walks acid straight through the pump seals. One line I want to hold here. If you have a standard tank water heater, your yearly job is flushing sediment out the drain valve with plain water, not vinegar. And if somebody tells you to pull the electric elements and soak them, that is power off at the breaker work with a meter to confirm it is dead. If you are not completely sure what you are doing, that one is a pro job, and I will not pretend otherwise. Quick pause before we keep going. If you want this on hand, that is what my guide is for. 100 old house fixes that save you thousands. Much of it is knowing when a cheap fix actually holds and when it is only hiding the problem, so you can ask a contractor sharper questions. The link is in the description, and there is a code on screen to scan. 7 items in, and we have covered every fixture in your house that moves water. Number 8 is the only cosmetic one on the list, and it still earns an hour of your Saturday. That orange-brown streak under a dripping tap or ring in the drain is iron oxide, plain rust, usually out of your water, or off the bottom of a can left on the ledge. Soak a paper towel in vinegar, lay it on the stain, give it an hour, then work it with a nylon brush. On fresh, light staining, that lifts right off. Now, the honest boundary, because I will not oversell you. Rust that has been baking into that glaze for years is past what a 5% acid can do. For that, you want oxalic acid, the powdered cleanser in a can that every plumber keeps in the truck, a few dollars. And do not go at porcelain with steel wool. You will scratch the glaze, and a scratched glaze grabs stain forever after. That is 8 items, and everyone says the same thing. Vinegar works. Now I have to turn around and take some of that back, because the next 2 are where this stuff gets people. Number 9, the volcano. Baking soda down the drain, vinegar on top, foam comes boiling up out of the sink. Everybody nods. Look at what actually happened. Baking soda is a base. Vinegar is an acid. And put together, they neutralize each other into carbon dioxide, gas, water, and a weak salt called sodium acetate. That is the entire reaction. The fizz is not the mixture attacking your clog. The fizz is your 2 ingredients destroying each other. And when it stops, you are standing over a sink of slightly salty water with no acid left in it and no alkali either. It cannot dissolve anything because chemically there is nothing left to do the dissolving. The pressure argument fails too. In a sealed bottle, that gas builds real force, but your drain is an open system with a vent pipe running up through your roof. So it goes straight up and out and nothing gets pushed anywhere. And the whole show is over inside a minute, while buildup needs sustained contact to break down. So what is really clearing that slow drain when people swear this worked? The kettle of hot water they pour down afterward. That has always been the active ingredient. So take one thing from this. Use vinegar on scale alone and undiluted because you need it acidic to do its job. The second you add baking soda, you cancel the exact property you wanted. Number 10. Vinegar will not clear a grease clog. Not a real one, not ever. And this is the one that costs people the most. Understand what is down there. Bacon fat, oil off a pan, butter, all of it goes down warm and liquid and looks like it is gone. A foot into a cold pipe, it sets on the wall like candle wax hardening on a holder. And once set, it catches everything else that passes. Coffee grounds, rice, hair, until the opening closes. To break fat down chemically, you need an alkali, a strong base, because a base turns fat into soap. That is exactly why the caustic stuff works when it works, and it is the far end of the chemistry from vinegar. Acetic acid at 5% does not touch congealed grease. 0. Not even a little. Every plumber in this country knows that. The internet keeps prescribing it anyway, because it is cheap and sounds harmless. And harmless is not the same thing as useful. Meanwhile, that clog gets another week to harden while you wait on a jug that was never going to do anything. So what to do instead? A light, greasy slowdown moves with hot tap water and a squirt of dish soap, because dish soap is a surfactant, meaning it lets water carry oil away instead of sliding past it. If it keeps coming back, run an enzyme drain treatment overnight, the kind with live cultures that digest grease, a few dollars a bottle. If the water is barely moving, that is a hand snake or pulling the P-trap under the sink, 20 minutes with a bucket. A drain call is $150 to $350, so all three beat the phone. Number 11, and this is the irony of the whole video. The same acid that saves your fixtures is quietly chewing on the parts that keep your toilet from running. Somebody started telling people to pour a cup of vinegar into the toilet tank every month to keep it fresh. I have seen where that ends. Inside your tank is the flapper, the rubber flap at the bottom that lifts when you flush and drops back to seal, plus a handful of gaskets and washers. Leave acid standing on that rubber month after month, and it goes soft. Then it stops sealing. And now you have a toilet running around the clock and a repair bill on top of it. I know of a woman who ran that routine for a year and ended up $200 deep replacing the guts of a toilet that had nothing wrong with it when she started. Now, I want to be square with you, because it is not all rubber. Natural rubber and silicone shrug vinegar off completely. Other compounds weaken with long exposure and eventually fail, and you have no way of knowing which one is sitting in your tank. So the rule is not about the material, it is about dwell time. A short soak followed by a rinse is fine, and that covers every job in the first half of this video. Something standing in there for a month is not. That is exactly why number 3 sends the vinegar down the overflow tube into the rim channel instead of dumping it in the tank. Same jug, same acid, 30 minutes against stone, and none of it parked on your flapper. Same courtesy for your washing machine and dishwasher gaskets. Occasional, then rinse, never a weekly ritual. Number 12. Never mix it with anything. And I mean this one seriously, because this is the item that can put you in an emergency room. Vinegar and chlorine bleach releases chlorine gas, which burns your eyes, your nose, your throat, and your lungs. In a small bathroom with the door shut and no fan running, that is genuinely dangerous. And the practical version nobody warns you about. If you keep a bleach tablet in your toilet tank, or you just clean the bowl with a bleach-based cleaner, flush that out thoroughly before you pour vinegar anywhere near it. People do not mix them on purpose. They mix them by accident, 20 minutes apart. The other is vinegar and hydrogen peroxide combined in the same container. That makes peracetic acid, which is corrosive, irritates skin, eyes, and airways, and off gases. So it must never be sealed in a closed bottle. Both are safe on their own. Neither is safe blended. So the rule is one product at a time, rinse in between, never blend them, Never store a premixed bottle under your sink. And if you ever catch a lungful of something sharp, get outside into fresh air and get help. Do not tough that one out. All right, troubleshooting. Because these soaks do not always land the first time. If you bag the shower head overnight and the flow is still weak, the restriction is somewhere else. Check the shower valve for a screen and check whether pressure is low across the whole house rather than in that one room. If the rim jets are still lazy after a soak, you skip the mechanical part, where softened scale still has to be broken loose with a wire, jet by jet, and check your tank water level while the lid is off. Because a tank running an inch below the fill line gives you a weak flush with perfectly clean jets. If you descale a fixture and the crust is back inside a month, stop treating fixtures. That is a whole house water problem, and you are mopping the floor with the tap still running. And one caution I need to land properly. Every stone fabricator puts this in the care sheet that comes with the counter, and nobody reads it until the surface is already dull. Keep vinegar off natural stone. Marble, travertine, and limestone are calcium carbonate, the same material as the scale you are trying to dissolve, so acid etches them, not stains. Etches, meaning it dissolves the polished surface and leaves a dull mark no cleaning brings back. It happens in minutes, and sealing does not stop it, because sealer sits down in the pores while etching happens on the surface above it. Granite and quartzite are silicate rather than calcium, so they do not etch that way, but vinegar can still strip their sealer over time. Simple rule. Vinegar never goes on stone, and if a drip lands there, you wipe it now, not later. All right. Now, the thing I promised you at the top, and it is what makes everything else here repeatable instead of random. Every public water system in the United States is required to publish an annual water quality report, and some utilities call it a consumer confidence report. It is free, and it is either mailed to you, posted on your utility's website, or yours by calling and asking for it. Buried in that report is your water hardness, usually listed in milligrams per liter, which is the same thing as parts per million. Read that number like this. Under 60 and your water is soft, so descale once a year if you bother at all. 60 to 120 is moderately hard, twice a year. 120 to 180 is hard water, and that is quarterly on showerheads, aerators, and rim jets. Over 180 is very hard, meaning every couple of months, and at that level price, a water softener, honestly, against what you already spend replacing fixtures. On a well, there is no report, so pick up a drop test kit for $10 or $20. That is the payoff. One number, free, and it turns every job in this video from something you react to into something on a calendar. Because the weak flush call is easy money. 20 minutes, some vinegar, and a piece of wire. Full invoice. And the homeowner who knows their hardness number never makes that call, because their fixtures never get that far gone. So, plumbers do not want you to know about vinegar. That is the title on this video, and I will be straight with you about it. Nobody in the trade is guarding a secret. What is true is quieter, and it costs you more. A $3 jug handles the small stuff, and small stuff that gets handled never grows into a service call. That is the whole conspiracy. It is arithmetic, and it runs in your favor the moment you know which jobs to hand that jug and which ones to keep it away from. One last thing before I go. Everything I walked you through lies in my guide, 100 Old House. Fixes that save you thousands. It is built to keep you from paying for service calls you never needed. And the season-by-season checklist in the back puts this on a calendar instead of a crisis. The link is in the description, and you can scan the code on screen. And if you want more old house fixes that keep money in your pocket, subscribe to Roger the Pipe Guy. That is what I do here, week after week.